Hey coaches, Coach Eric here, coachestrainingroom.com. We are so happy to be here live with you. If you're on with us right now, thanks for being here. We got Coach Mark, who is in England, and I want to make sure that our stream is live here now. I believe we are good. Mark, are you with us here?
Yep, with us. I think I can
Perfect.
see it live now. So yeah, thanks for joining us if you're on already.
Excellent, excellent. All right, good. Sorry about being a tad bit late. We just had to get some technology working, connecting up here. So we're good to go. We're excited to be here. And we got a big treat for you today. We have our full session walkthrough. And if you didn't grab the PDF download, I will post that if I can on the feed here. If it's not here in the chat feed, I will put it in the group, okay, or the Facebook page where this event is listed, because it's definitely important. If you can follow along with the session plan, it's not 100% needed, but if you can follow through that session plan, because we're going to be walking through that today. Coach Mark is going to be going through that, and definitely feel that it will really help you get an idea of what our programs are like and what we feature in our online programs, just to get a little taste of it. And Coach Mark, so we were talking a couple weeks ago about unplanned circumstances that happen every now and again, and having to make adjustments and things that happen out of the blue with practices, like not enough players showing up, so we have to make those adjustments. So what happened with you recently?
Yeah, actually, that's we were just laughing a little bit earlier. I managed to break a tooth on Sunday, and all I was doing was eating some food. It's obviously one of my favorite things to do. So a little bit disappointed, but yeah, I ended up breaking a tooth, and then today I've been rushing around trying to get some situation in place so that I'm not in any pain anymore. And so yeah, we just we were laughing because obviously thinking on your feet, making the preparations, and then when it comes to best laid plans, sometimes they don't always go quite to plan. So I was just in the dentist an hour ago. So
yeah,
but
you're here.
we may do. So today's session's not going to be quite as I was planning on something ever so slightly different, but I think we'll still get a lot out of this. So Eric, yeah, if you do get a chance to post a session plan in the comments, that'd be great. Sacramento,
yeah, it looks like I can.
In those already. So hi to you guys. Yeah, so if you want, Eric, I can go ahead and jump straight into the session plan, as long as everyone can understand me. I'm not slurring my words with medication or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Coach Morrell, we got on, and Coach Macramento, I believe, from Chicago. Thanks for joining us. We got over 50 coaches on right now, maybe close to 60. It's floating around those numbers right now. So welcome, everybody. We're so it's so awesome that we have this technology to reach all over the world. So wherever, right now it's about 5 o'clock where I'm at in Michigan here, Eastern Standard Time, and I believe it's 10 or 11 there, Mark, in England.
10 o'clock in England right now. Yeah.
10 o'clock in England. So awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. Coach Mark and myself been doing Coaches Training Room. We started about 7 years ago, and basically our whole goal is to help out coaches all over the world with their session planning, providing resources in video format like we are here live, answering your questions, and then also in PDF downloads, physical books like I got here. I'm going to go over a little bit later in the session. So we've written some physical books. We got a lot of ebook sessions. So you've probably seen our logo and name around the internet because we do a lot digitally. So we're welcome. We're glad you're here. Coach Mark, go ahead and let's kick it off. We know we got a lot of excited coaches today on with us, and we'll go through that session plan. Any questions you coaches have, go ahead and put them in the comments below, and I will try to post if I can, post the session plan PDF download. All right, if I can't live, it will definitely be there after this in the comments.
Yeah, and I think it's in the recent post as well, so if it's not there shortly, if you just scroll down a little bit further, you should be able to pick up that session plan from just there. It is the Coaches Training Room logo at the top. The topic is passing, and really this is for you to take home and put into practice whenever you like. Is a little gift from us to you. Really, from my end, it is more. We did have a few questions a few weeks back with regards to structuring of sessions and how to follow a theme right the way through. It was Coach Rob who posted that. Who his children play soccer, but he is a basketball coach by trade. So we did touch on the transferable skills. But really, I just wanted to sort of dive straight into the passing session here and how I would build it up as a session. So as we've touched on previously, a soccer coach with over 10 years experience, and obviously credit a lot of my my own sort of knowledge from seeing other people, how they coach, how they would do things, and just taking that and applying it to my own methods. So I'll just run straight into this and deliver this from my own perspective. And if you've got any different views, feel free to comment with those. If you have any alternatives that you would do yourselves, make sure you're dropping those in, because again, this is a space for us all to learn. So we'll dive straight in, and we're going to try and follow a theme here from the technique that we're working on, which is going to be passing, with the main objective being possession, keeping the ball, and also awareness of our surroundings. So I'm assuming here that the team that I have in mind for this particular session has a good understanding of the motor skills needed for passing. So I'm talking sort of 10s, 12s, but again, largely applicable to younger players and also obviously older players as well. We can make some adjustments to make the session a little bit more difficult if needs be, and also simplify for younger players. So I've called the warm up here. This is our technique in isolation. So I would always start off the session with zero sort of pressure on the ball and what we're doing, but also not just as repetitive as just simply passing the ball back into, because that's never how it's going to work. We're on the field. So I've called it 4v4v4. I would probably say for the warm up it's more like 4+4+4. Because all of the coloured bibs, pennies here, they're going to be working together. So yellows work with yellows, blues with blues, reds with reds. Very, very simple. We're just going to pass the ball around. I'm going to say 30 by 30 yard area for this, but feel free to adjust the dimensions as you see fit. And it is as straightforward as that. You just pass to other yellow players, if it were, or the blues or the reds. Now, again, the focus is, well, it's straightforward there. We're just knocking the ball about, getting the ball moving, getting players used to receiving the ball and passing it off. But what makes this a bit more game real is the fact that the other players, whilst they're focused on what they're doing, we're going to be passive obstacles to what we want. So I would encourage your players to obviously pass and move as they would do on the field. Don't try and make it too easy for themselves by moving away from the other from the red team, for example, and giving themselves a space. Although that right there is would be an interesting one, because it means your players are actually looking at the field, they know where the space is, and they've kind of made it a little easier for themselves. So whilst it shouldn't be discouraged, because it is it's a good thing that they've been able to see the field and move away from the other players, we can also want to encourage, but again, you can build that in as you start to build up the difficulty of the session. So this 10-minute warm-up here, from a warm-up perspective, if your players are of the age where we're going to need to include some dynamic stretches, you could include those dynamic movements when they don't have the ball. So we could make a pass, we could move to somewhere else, and do a game realistic dynamic stretch just to get us nice and warmed up and moving. So this 5-minute warm-up is, I would say you could build an hour session out of just this, with building it up with the progressions. So I won't spend too long on it, but I'll just give you a couple of ideas of what you could do at this point. So we all know there's more than one way to pass a ball, to receive a ball. So we might start looking at, okay, so now next time you receive the ball, once we're nice and warmed up and we understand the rules of the game, once we're nice and warmed up, let's say we can only make a cut pass into one of our teammates. So what I'm talking about here is my body is, let's say I'm facing you, Coach Eric, and there's a player to my left hand side. The ball in front of me, I'm going to make a cut pass to my to my left hand side to that free player. So body shape suggests I'm going to be passing the ball this way. I step myself, I play the ball, quick cut pass in. Nice little technique to use in the games. Obviously, we play the way that we're facing, but if we can see another player, if the opposition are looking at it and they think, okay, well, we're going to play in the ball this way, and we can make a little cut pass in behind, that's a really good technique to be able to work on. So we can make cut passes instead of the standard pass, just plant our foot and play the ball to the player that's in front of us. And that gets my teammates thinking, okay, where do I need to be to receive the ball? It might be that we just send a player, so you make a simple pass and you move to somewhere else on the pitch, on the field, so that now, when you before you even receive the ball, you have to look up, scan the field, see where you need to go, because your teammates and the opposition are going to be moving at all times. So you need to work out where the space is going to be, and make your moves from there. And then further still, if you want to get a little bit more involved with this particular session, if you really want to start building this out into a full session, which we will do, as there's another session within this that will look at that. But again, just for a basic unopposed idea at this point, you could say, okay, right, you can score 2 points if you can actually split. Oh, hey, look at that! We got the session plan on the screen. Awesome. Cool.
Well, I thought I'd put that up so we can see that.
Yeah. Then it's not
cool?
Just my face explaining it, right? Yeah, that's perfect. So again, what we could do here, if you want to start sort of challenging the players a bit more, you could say, okay, yellow team, and again, it will still apply to the Blues and the Reds, but we'll just focus on yellows for now. Yellow team, if you can receive a ball and pass to a teammate between 2 red players, that's an extra point. Or 2 blue players, that's an extra point. So now you're not only, as the player with the ball, looking for these players on the opposition team, but your teammate who's going to receive the ball is going to have to move into those sort of spaces as well. You could say 2 points for splitting a red and a blue player. Again, just building up that awareness of the field. Suddenly we're taking because ultimately, if we just go back to the start, we're passing the ball, but the main objectives here are possession and awareness. So now we're taking the focus away from the mechanics of passing the ball, and we're getting our head up. We're looking for the Blues and the Reds, and without necessarily thinking about what we're doing with the ball at our feet, we're passing to our teammates, but we've got our head up. We're nice and positive, we're nice and bright, and we're looking for these things. So sometimes it's just a little bit of a mental challenge to get us from looking up, looking down at the ball and where we need it to go to getting our head up and splitting those players. I realise I've talked a lot about the first session here, so I will.
No, that's good. That's what we want. Yeah, some detail there. That's really good. And I just, coaches that just joined us, this session can be found on our Coaches Changing Room Facebook page. You can download it there. I also shared the link in the live feed here as well, but I do not think it's clickable. So if you just I think you can probably copy and paste that into your browser. But it's very easy to find on our Coaches Training Room Facebook page. Also our Coaches Training Room group page and the Soccer Coaches University page. So it's everywhere. You'll be able to download the session plan. So you'll be able to access this.
Awesome. And then again, as I mentioned, you could build this into a full 90-minute session if needs be, just from this one simple setup. You don't have to go in, diving in and out, changing the process, changing the setup. You can just build in conditions, build in rules. So I'm actually going to skip to the third one down here. So we've got 4 plus 4 versus 4. And again, this is just one simple rule change from what we've been looking at a little bit earlier on. Now you're going to have 2 teams working together. So it's going to be, again, we're building in the pressure slowly. So it's going to be 8 versus 4. So we're numbers up. We're encouraging the success on the team of the passing team, the rules for the passing team. And we're going to have in this situation yellows and blues working together against the red team. And it is as simple as that. You're keeping the ball away from the opposition. Those 4 players, you should always have 3 players on the field at any time here. So it's important that we're looking for those. If you're the team that loses the ball, then you just switch. So if you're a yellow player and you lose the ball to the Reds become the attacking team now with the Blues, and yellows defend. So it's important. Again, to just manage those transitions, because you're going to go from the defensive team to the attacking team quickly. Make sure that you've now gone from restricting space to wanting to create the space. So again, just manage those transitions. A couple of good coaching points there that you can jump in with. But again, from that, you could work in conditions so that you could put a couple cones out in the corners, so that now we're working to an objective. So we're not just passing the ball blindly for passing's sake. We're now trying to find a space to move the ball into. So 4 corners, and you score a point if you can pass to a teammate who is in one of those corners. Okay. So we'll move on from that setup. If you've got any further questions or any other ideas about that particular, kind of one setup session, a couple of variations that we can go into. Again, if you've got ideas that perhaps I've not covered there, I'd love to hear them as far as conditions and rules, because again, we could all, we're all learning. So if you've got any ideas, please feel free to share with us.
Yeah, I just posted. Coaches, you can post any questions you have in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you're enjoying this, go ahead and put the thumbs up, hit some hearts, some thumbs up. All you got to do is tap those little icons on the side if you're enjoying this. Definitely had a lot of requests to be live on here, answering your questions. We got Coach Francisco on. Ali just joined us. And so we got, from Dallas. Awesome. Excellent, coaches. So don't be shy. Go ahead, post any comments, questions, share this video. Make sure you subscribe so it alerts you when we're live next week, because we do this every week on Monday from 5 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you subscribe, it'll automatically alert you on Facebook, because we know that your time is valuable. You're busy. You got busy lives. We all have busy lives. So it will alert you as soon as we're live, and you can join us. Just click and join us live here today. Oh, we got Coach Josh from Florida. Lucky. I'm here in Michigan with all the snow, and you're down there with the sunshine. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. So just to round back on what I was saying. So we started off with the technique in isolation with no pressure, and then what we're doing with the 4v4 plus 4 is building up some real pressure. But again, I would consider this passive pressure. So we've got the technique in isolation. We're building up into a little bit of pressure there, and then we're going to move slowly into full pressure. That would be the route I would take, and then we're going to move into the small-sided game that is conditioned to the topic that we've been working on. So there's a couple of ways that in that one session alone you could build up the pressure. So you go from the technique in isolation with just passing the ball around. You then obviously build up into the passive pressure, and then the real pressure in just that one particular session. So the next one, again, I've jumped about a little bit here, but that's okay, because again, we could build out one session, we could make another session out of this as well. So jump back to the second one, which would, in its purest sense, be the technique under passive pressure, because we've conditioned this to be passive. And again, it's awareness. It is keeping the ball. Also, the main focus is passing. So you'll see here, I've got a 12 by 12 yard area. With one player who's going to be working nice and hard in the middle, and 4 players in the corners. So what's going to happen here is a simple pass into the middle player, and whoever passed the ball is going to remain an outlet for that particular player. But the 3 other players are going to make a decision at the time as whether to press or whether to stay and be a passing option. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's 4 potential outcomes here, so it's going to be very, very tricky for that player in the middle. If this is a kind of newer concept, to scan the field before you receive the ball, because that is what we need to get our players into the mindset of thinking. So if you're passing the ball into that player in the middle, and you receive the ball and then decide what your next move is, it's already a little bit too late, because you've got 1, 2, potentially 3 players who are going to close you down. So you need to check the field, you need to see who's an option, you need to listen to who is an option as well, because they'll be able to give you those audible clues as to who's free. So let's say, for example, the player behind the receiving player steps up. And when I'm talking about stepping up, we're not trying to, this is still passive pressure, remember, so we're not actually trying to take the ball from them, we're just trying to give them the encouragement to make the right pass. So if it is just the player behind that steps up, that's going to give us 3 potential passing options. It's going to give us 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and 1 straight back to the player who passed the ball. Now, in those circumstances, when there's two passing options, I would like to encourage the players to actually make those passes off to the right and the left, and an educated pass off to the right and the left as well. They're not actually making the pass when they receive the ball. They already know as soon as somebody alerts them to where they're doing the quick scan of the field, check your wing mirrors, see where the players are coming from, see who's an available option, and make that pass. You might get one player closing you down. You might get two players coming in from either side of you. At that point, you might want to, if you scan the field, you know where the pressure's coming from. You can receive the ball on the half turn and play it off to the other side. And again, if all three players close you down, then you're going straight back to where you came from. There's too much pressure on the ball at that point. You're making the pass straight back to the player who received it. So this should be a really short, snappy session with lots of rotation for the middle player. But again, not being overly critical because again, it is a very, very difficult skill to be constantly scanning the field to know where your next option is. But it is one that we need to get our players used to. So again, scanning the field, nice and fun. This one, just again, lots of encouragement. You can let them have those audible cues at the start. If a player isn't pressing them, they can let them know that where the outlet is. And again, once we've kind of mastered the basics, then we could just move into effectively silence, so that we're forced now to check the surroundings the whole time. We're constantly moving. As soon as the ball is played, we know approximately where the pressure is going to be coming from, and we can make the right pass, make those right options. Okay.
Nice. Great.
Yep.
We got a lot more coaches joining in the chat. Just wanted to give a couple shout outs. We got Coach Danny on that says very informative. Thanks, Coach Mark. So yeah, he's loving the information. And then we had a couple people from Florida saying it's real hot, but they're liking the info. And feel free to post any questions you guys have. So one was Coach Scott asked, how can you make easy transition from each training? So I don't know if he's talking specifically about the actual setup, like quickness to setup of the next session. And then I'm gonna just go to the next one. Coach Brian asked, do you post these? Now we do post these lives, but the thing is about watching them, the recordings, is obviously you don't get your question answered right on the video, but we do post these live in our private Facebook group, which I'll post the link to in the comments. But that is kind of our exclusive invite only group. So I will post that to you that are live on here now, so you can go ahead and request access to that group now. So that's where we post the lives. Now it will actually be, we post that in a unit in the private group, and it will be in the page, but you're going to want to join our group because we share a lot of our like exclusive content there and not everything on our main Facebook page. So I will be posting that there. All right, Mark.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I just lost the comment.
Oh, you know what? Coach Scott said it is set up. It is about setup.
Yeah, I mean
they don't waste time.
Yeah, if you've got this, I mean, ultimately space is an issue with field space. In an ideal world, if you've got all the sessions that you wanted to run through in mind, you'd have the space available. You'd set one right up to the next one, and it would be a simple case of quick drink and on to the next one. What I like to do, Scott, and having a lot of situations where it's been a case of, we don't have the space available, is to try and make the session adaptable as you go. So it could be as simple as you get the players moving. As soon as something's clicking, you could drop in a couple of coaching points, a couple of progressions. And then if it was a simple case of, players are understanding it, things are working, can we make a little bit of a tweak to the area? You could get the help of parents, assistant coaches, just to make the area smaller while the game is going on. So we don't need to stop it. And I do like that practice as well, because the moment you alert players to the fact that the area has changed, i.e. the area's got smaller, suddenly the game seems a little bit more difficult, which it is. We've made the area smaller, but we've also alerted them to the fact that the area is smaller. Whereas if we just, it might be a case of it was 8v4 just then. What happens if I just pass a bib, a penny to one of those attacking players and say you're on the defensive team? We just quickly switch the pennies. The game is still going, but suddenly it's 7v5. So again, it's just those quick tweaks as we go. If the session is still flowing, then there's no interruption in that particular sense. But if it is a you need to make some changes to the field. It might be a case of, okay, well, we're now moving into a small-sided game, so there might need to be a little bit of setup. And in those situations, the prime time to do so is drinks breaks. And I would encourage you as coaches, and I think this is something to save our backs is, okay. Players collect the cones in on the way to the water break, and it just means that the cones are back with you. You can set the next part up, and
nice.
you're on your way again.
Yeah, or try to get an assistant.
Yeah,
coach.
right, yeah. And Danny, I would just on that comment there, I would say generally we're sort of talking about U12s, but again, not restrictive to that. We could. I've seen this run with under 18s teams, just kind of building up the pressure as you go. There's in those instances, it's more about the delivery of the coaching deliverables that sets the session apart. And again, you can build in the difficulty, you can break it down to whatever it'll be, increase the size of the area, decrease, so on and so forth. But that's not saying that you can't apply it to younger players as well. You just have to cater your coaching points to those particular players. I would say the small-sided game I'm just about to move into would be definitely sort of 12 and up, just because of the setup. But again, not restrictive. There's ultimately age appropriate is one thing, but ability specific as well. So if you think your players are up to it, absolutely go for it, because there's age brackets, but then also abilities. There's stuff that I've done with U9 teams that would perhaps not be conceptually grasped by a group of U12, U14 players. So it's all about the ability. And you okay with me just to jump straight into the small-sided game, Eric?
Yeah, I was just going to answer one more question. Coach Brian asked,
sure.
how can we get an invite to the exclusive coaches training room group? Now, if you're on here live, or if you're specifically looking for exclusive content from us, like more in depth, we do kind of post that in the private group rather than the main coaches training room Facebook page. So if you're liking this type of training and want some more in-depth resources from us and some exclusive type content, then what you can do is request to join. Just type coaches training in the Facebook search, just type in coaches training room private group. It should pop up, and then you answer the 3 questions, and we check those about once a day and approve people in. Well, try to at least once a day get in there and approve people based on the requests. So you can do that there. All right. Yep. So we're ready to go through the last. Oh, and I'll post the link too after we get through the live here.
Awesome. Yeah. So just to dive into the small-sided game, and I won't spend too much time overdoing this, but again, we've worked on the technique under no pressure, technique under passive pressure. We're building up the pressure now. We've gone from the 8v4, and now we can slowly start to move that into real pressure and the small-sided game. So again, with anything that we would encourage you to do, I would always encourage you to stick with the theme. So the time for scrimmage at the end isn't just there's still a lot of opportunity for your coaching deliverables and for them to work on the session that they've just been doing. So with this, we're going to stick with the passing, the possession, and work from there. So we've got the field set up. You'll see is played widthways, and we've got 6v6 ultimately, but we do have some grids on the field just to sort of encourage players to keep a shape. So all those little areas there, we have 4 players who are effectively the midfield. If we're focusing on the Reds here, that's just because where the arrows for this particular session are, but Reds are set up. It's kind of a 4-2 midfield going to attack to pop up goals. So you defend your areas. Ultimately, it is about building the attack and moving the ball into those attackers quickly so that they can score into either pop up goal. You'll realise the pressure is weighted just as it would be on the field in a game. So it's about the cleverness of the passing, the movement off the ball, and ultimately the quality of the pass and the move. So just to tell you what's going on a little bit here, the midfield players on the red team, they're restricted to their areas. So they're keeping a shape, they're keeping their space, they're trying to work the ball into those two attackers, and the two attackers have 2 zones each. On the reverse of that is the defensive team, or, well, what would be the midfield if the blue team had the ball, have a zone each, and they're defending against those 2 attackers.
Oops.
So, yeah, it's about moving the ball. It's about being patient in the 4v2 situation. As soon as you move the ball into the final third, it's going to be a 2v4 unweighted it's in the defender's favor. So it's the quality of the pass, the movement of the ball between the you might be playing on the shoulder of one of the defenders. So again, just important that we move the ball here. So runs and support are obviously important. I've mentioned in the comments here that we're always sort of encouraging. It's a diagonal. If you're making a diagonal run, the player with the ball should be looking to play a straight pass in, or a straightish pass in to feet. And also, if it was a diagonal ball, it might be that we're making a very direct run towards goal to meet that diagonal pass. So again, I won't go into over detail. Again, it might be that as you go along with this one, the kind of gridding system might not just be. It might be something that you want to move away from fairly quickly into just a bit more free flowing. But again, if it just to give you that little bit of structure, that little bit of form that you've been working on throughout the session, and just to allow some passes, allow some success with the passes. Good idea for a little small-sided game.
Great. Yeah, coaches, let us know how you like this how we did this today with the sessions. We're going to mix it up, obviously, every week, but this was one of our video session walkthroughs. So we did go over a little bit. We appreciate you going so much detail, Coach Mark, with this and answering questions that came through on the chat. That is another reason to be on live. Make sure you subscribe to our Facebook Lives. I believe there should be like a button there that says subscribe, and that'll notify you as soon as we're live, so you remember. And then we do have, well, actually, I want to touch on two real important things. One is tonight at 11 p.m., we are ending our gold package special. We're doing a flash sale for we had it for like just over 2 days, and it ends at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's one of our larger packages where you pay one time, you get lifetime access to over 270 activities, and it's all online, accessible through our exclusive members portal. So you get your own username, password, you get a ton of bonuses, so a ton of exclusive content in there. And now we went through and you see the PDF, okay, or what this looks like, the PDFs, and then you'll also get a video of each activity as well. So you'll see exactly how it's run through on video with animations, and then you'll get the step-by-step text instructions as well, and you'll get a ton of bonuses. Like I said, you'll get some coaching templates that you can use to create your own session plans or make adjustments. Just maybe take one of ours and you have some ideas to work off of, and you want to draft it up on your own session plan. So there's some nice bonuses in there for downloads that you can use. So daily session planner template, weekly session planner template, some ebooks as well that we include in it. So anyways, I don't want to go into detail. There's so much that you get with the gold package that we have it at 90% off right now. All you have to do is go to coachestrainingroom.com/flash, FLASH, to go and grab that deal before 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Like I said, it will come down tonight for the 90% off at 11 p.m. So you can go check out all the details of the package. I just briefly went over it, but there's even more content in there. coachestrainingroom.com/flash, FLASH. We only do these very rarely throughout the year. We'll do a flash sale like this on some of our exclusive content. So that's the gold sessions package. I would definitely go there and check that out. Now, if you're a physical books kind of person, and you want some physical books, we have 2 available here as well. So we have the Ultimate Guide to Coaching U12 Soccer Teams, which is over 209 pages, full color. This is available on Amazon. You can check it out. Just go to coachestrainingroom.com/U12 book, or you can go directly on Amazon and just Google the name, Ultimate Guide to Coaching U12 Soccer Teams. It'll pop up. And then we also have our Soccer Coaches University guide, which is amazing as well. So those are the physical books we have. They're also available in ebook format. If you're interested in those, just check out our products page at coachestrainingroom.com/products, or go there and click the products tab and you'll see all our coaching resources. So I would recommend checking out our flash sale that's going on right now at coachestrainingroom.com/flash, FLASH, and check that out, because that is one of our largest packages that we have. That includes over 270 activities. And I'm just going to put this link in the comments here while we're still live, so it'll be available for those of you that watch this later tonight before 11 p.m. so you have access to it. But it will be coming down at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is about, let's see what it is, about 4 hours from now. So I'm going to pop that in here. There it is. So you can check that out, coachestrainingroom.com/FLASH. If you have any further questions, let us know. Put them in the comments. Even if you're not watching this live, we still check the comments. This will stay on our Coaches Training Room main Facebook page. And then also we will put it in the units tab on our private group. All right. Look forward to talking to you soon. Coach Mark, anything else that you have for us tonight? Really appreciate you sharing that.
Oh yeah, of course, and thank you for joining. I've seen a few more comments that I will reply to. I'll be in the comments for a little while,
Okay.
just replying to some of you guys. And again, appreciate you joining. It's great for us. And if you've got any alternatives that you would do to the session that I've just put forward, please let us know, because again, it's important for us all to learn, or get ideas, and grow together. So thank you again for joining us this week.
All right, coaches, we'll see you next week, Monday, 5 p.m. Click the subscribe so you're alerted right away when we're on here live. And we look forward to seeing you next week, Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come with your questions, put them in the comments, get ready. Take care, have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.